O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to Mr. David Bray for the musical rendition of O Canada and to the National Film Board for the images. First, we'll move on to adopt the minutes of the previous council meeting. Can I have a motion to adopt the previous council meeting minutes? Thank you. Councillor Wong.
Thank you very much, Mayor Gibbon. I move that the minutes of the City Council meeting held April 18th, 2011 be adopted.
Thanks very much. Any errors or omissions spotted in those minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries, and we'll move on to the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Wong, would you take that one as well?
Yes, I move that Council adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries as well. So that brings us to the delegation portion of our council meeting, and this is an opportunity for anybody in the community to come forward and present to council on any issue. We did have notification of one delegation, and so if you'd like to come forward and come to the presenter's desk and you can introduce yourself to council and feel free to present away.
All right. Well, first of all, good evening. My name is Carolina, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak out in front of you this evening. I'm here on behalf of the Mazatlan Tourism Trust, which, as you may know, Mazatlan and Grande Prairie are sister cities. So I want to speak to you tonight a little bit about some initiatives that Mazatlan would like to aim towards with Grande Prairie to strengthen the relationship of the two cities in a way that's mutually beneficial. So first I'll go ahead and explain a little bit to you who I am and who I represent. So the Mazatlan Tourism Trust is made up of the Hotel Association, the municipality, and the state government. And what it does is promote the city of Mazatlan by creating new opportunities to spread the word about what Mazatlan is and what's unique about it. And my company represents the Mazatlan Tourism Trust in Canada specifically in order to reach Canadians, because Canadians are very, very important to Mazatlan. And as far as Grande Prairie as a sister city, I know over the past couple of years the Rotary has gone down to Mazatlan to do charity work, and every couple of years a representative from the government will come here and vice versa. But stemming from this last visit of Mayor Gibbon in the spring, Mazatlan got some different ideas to make the Sister City initiative take it to a new level, basically, as I mentioned before. And although both communities have close personal ties, we think there's a potential to increase that cooperation in a way that will draw benefits to Grande Prairie as well as Mazatlan from the entire Peace region. So a little bit about Canadians in Mazatlan. Depending on the year, between 120 and 130,000 Canadians visit each year. Many are loyal visitors, yearly visitors, and close to 300 have made Mazatlan their winter home. That doesn't count people who rent for the winter, so that number's probably higher. And through sister cities, we like to make Grande Prairie residents Mazatlan's special guests and see Mazatlan become a preferred destination for the Peace region. So that's basically, we are looking for different steps that we can take to recognize people from Grand Prairie as loyal visitors to Mazatlan. So some of the areas that we see for where there's potential for further cooperation under tourism are arts and culture, sport, education, and business. So that would mean that Mazatlan would participate more in arts and culture in Grand Prairie, as well as sporting events, education, looking for different ways to cooperate in business and have that be reciprocal. We feel that once we start, there's probably a lot of things that we don't know, that we can find even new ways that we haven't thought of to cooperate once we get the ball rolling. So just to summarize what today's visit has been about, more than anything, to get to know Grand Prairie and know a little bit more about the details of the city and how it works. And the mayor's been kind enough to show me around today, and I've had the opportunity to meet some different people. And the next step would be to design a roadmap about where we want to go and have some specific steps about what can benefit both cities. And so the short-term goal for us, for Mazatlan, is to have more frequent presence in Grand Prairie via participation in local events and delegation visits. So I learned about some events, large events that take place in the summer, and we're going to see the possibility of having booths at them and coming in and spending some time, and also perhaps in September have a delegation from Mazatlan that includes the mayor and some other officials from the government and the private sector come and visit and basically do a little bit of what I've done and get them to know the city better. And medium to long-term goals would be for the sister cities relationship to attract the Peace Region population to Grand Prairie and to Mazatlan. So how we do that, for example, just as an example, say we had the Mazatlan's folkloric ballet come, and we'd set up an event here in Grand Prairie and invite people from the Peace Region to come and visit Grand Prairie to see this, in the hope that later on they'll want to go to Mazatlan. And those are the ways that we think that both of our cities can benefit from strengthening this relationship. And that's basically it, and thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Carolina. As she mentioned, we had an opportunity to get together today with our Economic Development Officer, Brian Glavin, and discuss a little bit about the Grand Prairie market, and had an opportunity to tour around the city to the Tourism Information Center, over to GPRC, and have a chance to connect with the Chamber of Commerce as well. So were there any questions for the delegation from council members? And I see Councillor Gustafson and a few others in the queue here.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Thanks for your presentation today. Could you tell me, is there what's the unemployment rate like in Mazatlan?
Good question. I don't have the exact numbers. I know that for Mexico last month was about between 5 and 6%. Again, the numbers in Mexico are a little bit hard to read because a lot of people may not have full-time employment and they may not have official employment, but I think the actual unemployment rate in Mexico is not as high as other countries, or as most people might think that it is.
Okay. Just the reason I ask is we in Grand Prairie we have a very large working pool, and we don't have a lot of workers. That seems like we're always looking for more people. So if there's any way we could attract some good qualified personnel to work in Grand Prairie, I think that would be beneficial to both of us.
Well, this is one thing that we discussed this morning. Obviously, this might not be something immediate. We'd have to work something out, but I went to the college, and we thought there could be a way where the college could offer a package to people, students from Mazatlan or university or professionals, where they would get a couple of weeks where they would study, and then part of the time they would get work experience here, like an internship, because that might, make it easier rather than go through the whole process of hiring and the immigration. Just get a student permit, fixed amount of time, possibly paid, possibly not paid. That would depend on how this is worked out, but we thought that would be a really great way to do it, because people there would really benefit from the English language experience, as well as being in a different working setting outside of Mexico. That's really valued there. So yeah, that's one of the options we thought about.
Tell them to bring their snow boots.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Councillor Rice?
Thank you. I'm hoping that you have an opportunity or will have an opportunity to have talked to the Intergovernmental Services Director with regarding, it seems to me that a real obvious one is a presence at Municipal Government Day. I mean, because it's part of what the city does as part of its, and that to me would seem to be an excellent opening participation.
When is that?
June 15th.
Okay. Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Councillor Crokin?
Thanks, Mayor Gibbon. In your glossary, I didn't see any reference to, and not in a bad way, but I haven't heard about any snowbirds. We are respectfully referred to as snowbirds because we go south when it's cold here. So, I mean, and it's not a bad thing, but there's an awful lot of people who go from, well, you've got Canada, but from our region down to Mazatlan.
Yeah, no, and that, you're right, I didn't specify that, and I should have, because that's actually one of the reasons we're here, because it has been the snowbirds who have really spearheaded this relationship, and they're not really seen as snowbirds down there. They're considered part of the community now. Like, I think it was a month and a half ago, the governor had a meeting with what they call the seasonal residents of Mazatlan.
Okay.
So this is how seriously they take this community, and obviously Grand Prairie is a source for a lot of these seasonal residents. Because many of them have been going for 25, 30 years, so
Yeah.
they are a part of the community.
But there are still lots of cygnets coming up.
Sorry?
There's some baby birds coming up.
Baby birds, yes.
Thank you, it was very nice.
Thanks very much. Councillor O'Toole?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. Very nice presentation. In 2014, Grand Prairie is going to be celebrating 100 years as a municipality. And we're looking for participation, social events throughout the entire year. Maybe it'd be interesting if we could have some arts, entertainment, dance groups, artists, that sort of thing. So maybe pass that on down the road. We can work on something down there.
Definitely,
That'd
that's something they'd,
Be really unique. We've got plays taking place. We've got the art gallery involved, libraries involved, and downtown association, street performers. So there's lots of opportunity. We'd love to have you there.
definitely, that would be perfect.
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Great. Thanks very much. I think that's all the questions in the queue, unless anybody had anything else. No? Carolina, thanks very much for coming today. Appreciated having you here visit, and appreciated you actually extending your stay so that you could be at our council meeting tonight. When the visit was originally planned, we didn't sort of notice on the calendar that it was a council meeting tonight. So after we had the discussion today, I made the offer, and Carolina was nice enough to be able to rearrange her flights so that she could be here to present to council. So thanks very much for
I'm
that.
just
Appreciate
grateful
it.
that I had the chance to meet everyone and be able to speak to you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else that would like to speak to council? Any other delegation that'd like to come forward? Let me just look. It doesn't look. No. Okay. I think there's probably not anybody else. We'll move on to public hearings, of which there are none, and that takes us to unfinished business. Could I have a motion for item 7.1? Thank you very much, Councillor Wong.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I move that council give borrowing bylaw C 1198A, construction of the Community Knowledge Campus Aquatics Multiplex, second reading. And if I could speak to that briefly. This is the borrowing bylaw for the $64,998,973 for completion of the multiplex. This allows us to complete the exciting new facility for residents and visitors of our city. It allows us to increase the quality of life in Grand Prairie. Borrowing for the facility makes sense because it's like taking out a mortgage for a house. It makes it affordable to purchase the building while spreading out the costs to future generations who will benefit from the facility.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Wong. So we have a motion for second reading. Any discussion or debate on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Wong?
I move that council give borrowing bylaw C 1198A third reading.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Any discussion or debate on third reading? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. So item 7.2, Councillor Rice, would you take that one?
Sure. I move second reading of bylaw C 1199. This is a bylaw to renovate the former library building.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Rice. Any discussion or debate on that motion? Councillor Radburn?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Question for Ken. Ken, is this number, the 1.7 million, what we had in the budget for this project? The 1.725, is this? Yeah, that's my question.
Yes, Mayor, given these amounts are all reflected in the capital budget. There have been no changes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, any further discussion or debate on the motion for second reading? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries with one opposed. Motion for third reading?
I move third reading of bylaw C 1199.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Motion for third reading. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries with one opposed. Okay, and that brings us to item 7.3. Do we have a motion for item 7.3? Members of council? Thanks very much, Councillor Rice.
I move second reading of bylaw C 1252. This is the Wapiti dorm demolition and lot paving. And I know this part has come before us before. Part of it is allowing us to fulfill our obligation that we made to the provincial building.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any discussion or debate on that motion? I see Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. The question I have on this is, was it ever approached, it could be an area for some more trees and it would be less than the 360,000 we have to borrow over 10 years. Might only cost 150 and where we could have a bit more area where people read in the library, come and see, because I know south of the library, the money ain't in the pot to build in there yet. So that's just my question. There could be more than just pavement here.
Sure, thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Councillor Rice, do you want to speak to the commitment for the stalls, or is that maybe more appropriate for the fire chief? Or for Mr.
Well, Mr.
Mr. Anderson,
I'll
looks
let
like
Mr. Anderson take, he's been getting off too easy.
Ken?
Thanks for the opportunity. We currently provide parking on the Montrose site now to meet the obligation we have with the province. The reason the obligation arose was that we took part of the courthouse property for construction of the RCMP building. This will allow us to replace the parking on the Wapiti dorm site and ultimately result in the development of the Montrose site.
So this allows us to get cars off of the Montrose site so we can develop it in the future.
Correct, otherwise we would be limited, because part of the agreement we have with the province is that it has to be such and such a distance to the courthouse.
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Anderson. Any further discussion or debate on second reading? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries with one opposed. Motion for third reading?
I would move third reading of bylaw C 1252.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. So motion for third reading, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries with one opposed. That brings us to the reports portion of our agenda. Under number 8.1, we have a motion for the Joint Regional Emergency Management Committee. Council will remember from past, immediately past council meeting that we'd approved going ahead with forming that committee, and my recommendation for a council member will be Councillor Radburn after his time with his connection with the Protective Services Committee seemed to be the appropriate. So would somebody care to make that motion follow up with my recommendation. Councillor O'Toole?
Yes, I'd like the council to appoint Councillor Lauren Radburn to the Joint Regional Emergency Management Committee.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Any discussion or debate on that recommendation? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Rice?
And I'm sorry Mr. Sherback isn't here, but Fire Chief Lemieux might be able to answer. Is this one of the first joint regional emergency management committees in the province? Seems to me we started planning for it way before anybody else.
Chief Lemieux?
I believe this would be one of the first, and I say that because there's new legislation that's fairly recent that now allows us to do what we're doing with GPREP in a formal way. So I believe this will be one of the first formal process.
I'm wondering, Your Worship, if we should not request the Intergovernmental Services Director consider this as part of our one of our applications to municipal excellence.
Okay, thanks very much. Good suggestion. We'll forward it on to administration. Thanks, Councillor Rice. Okay, and that'll bring us to item 8.2, which is a strategic plan and priorities chart. And actually, speaking of our Director of Intergovernmental Services, Jeanette, if I can throw this over to you, I think you're going to do the introduction for us on it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're putting forward today Council's 2012 to 2014 Strategic Business Plan and also the April 2011 Strategic Priorities Chart. City Council developed an entirely new, excuse me, Council developed an entirely new strategic business plan this year during a series of sessions held throughout March and April, and this new plan documents Council's vision, mission, values, focus areas, and strategic directions. And the new strategic business plan will guide the organization in its planning and prioritizing, as well as decision-making over the next several years. There are three specific focus areas which Council has included in the plan, and those are community engagement and consultation, service, balancing excellence with value, and fiscal sustainability. So we would ask Council to approve their strategic business plan and also the April 2011 strategic priorities chart, which incorporates all of the items in that strategic business plan.
Thanks very much, Jeanette. So do I see Councillor Rice? Are you in the queue here to make? Okay, could I have a Councillor Radburn?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I would be pleased to, well, first of all, I have a question, and then I'll make the motion. Jeanette, I'm looking at the strategic priorities chart, and down in community services under Jane, it says Crystal Center parking. Don't we need at least / management model? I mean, up above, we've got both, and so I'm assuming that it should have both. It's much more than parking that we're looking at. So that's one. And the other one is fiscal sustainability model, I believe, is what we're looking for. I'm just wondering why we've added the word outline in under corporate services. So those two.
So the first, I think we'll maybe just take as almost as a, maybe you could move.
I can speak to them.
Sure, Jeanette. Okay.
In terms of the Crystal Center parking, it's been divided into two separate phases that that Community Services is working on. The parking phase will be coming forward in May, and the management model will be coming forward at a later date. So that's why we did put specifically just put the parking there, because that would be both the parking and the model will not be coming forward in May, but parking will be. In the other question in terms of the fiscal sustainability model, yeah, the whole model is one of the areas that we are moving forward. Again, it's a very large undertaking, so again, we're looking at phases, and the first phase that we would bring forward in June would be an outline for that model.
Okay. All right. Maybe with that, Mayor Gibbon?
If you could.
I would be pleased to move the council approve the 2012 to 2014 strategic business plan And April, is that April or May? It says May on here. Jeanette, what should I use?
Go with me.
May?
now.
The May 2011 strategic priorities chart as presented.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Ryder. I see a few people in the queue, so Councillor Wong.
Thank you very much, Mayor Given. I'd be pleased to support this motion, and to speak on it a little bit, I believe that all of council had an opportunity to provide input on this document, which I'm very proud to be able to have us release to the public now that it's ready. I believe that the thing that sets this plan apart from others that I've seen is not only does it identify a vision, but it also identifies some real concrete directions that we can take care of within this term. And that's something that's very, very important to me, that there's actionable items that council members get to review. Staff are writing these reports, but ultimately council will get a chance to deliver the goods when it comes to a strategic business plan. And I think that that's the most important part, and that's what keeps it from ending up on a shelf somewhere and getting dusted off once in a while when someone says, hey, I think we're going the wrong way.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Any further comments or discussion? If not, then just one thing that I wanted to note, I appreciate the fact that, as has been mentioned a couple of times before, that all council members had an opportunity to have input, and it really is a reflection of an amalgamation of views around the council table. The part of the plan that I appreciate the most is probably the section on values, where council as a group decided to define what are the things that are important to us, and I think that that can be a signpost as we go through the balance of the term when we're faced with decisions. That signpost can be a reference point for both council and for administration as we try to judge when we're faced with a decision point of what our priorities are. And so the values that we listed of fiscal responsibility, environmental responsibility, partnerships and collaboration, citizen engagement and communication, innovation, health, safety and wellness, customer experience and flexibility, I think really speak as a challenge to the organization to say that we want to do things in a fiscally responsible manner, but we encourage you to be flexible, to be innovative, to work with partners in the community to get things done. And I think that those were values that spoke to all of council, and so I really appreciate the work that council and administration put into building this plan, and I look forward to seeing the sister document, which will be administration's 3-year business plan that will fall out of this. My understanding is that administration's working on that now, and they'll be able to bring it together, and obviously we'll see the total view of that when we come to budget this fall. So, any further discussion or debate on the motion? If not, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. And Councillor Wong?
I just want to make one more comment. I'd like to say that during our strategic planning process, I really think we need to give kudos to the mayor who, during that process, found the opportunity to really pull this all together. There was a time during our strategic planning when it looked like we were going through the same type of process, and we were outlining all the things that we could possibly do and trying to narrow those down just into our strategic priorities. But what was lacking, I thought, was that overall visioning, and the mayor stood up, grabbed the pen, and started writing some stuff down, and I thought that really tied it all together. So congratulations, I thought you did an excellent job there.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Thank you. So we'll move on to committee business, and I see 100th Anniversary Committee, and I believe that's Councillor McLean. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Councillor O'Toole, Chair.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. So, Councillor O'Toole, would you like to care to move the minutes of that April 14th meeting?
Yes, I'd like
You're gonna, Councillor O'Toole, I just need you to turn on your microphone.
Sorry about that, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to recommend the council receive the minutes for the 100th Anniversary Committee meeting held April 14, 2011.
Thanks very much. Did anyone notice any errors or omissions in those minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Was there anything that you wanted to note out of that set of minutes, Councillor O'Toole?
Well, we got a lot of things on the planning. We've got events in, we're still in the elementary stages, but we've got a lot of people on board. Like I said earlier, we've got the Downtown Association has a number of events that are planned. We've got the library, Grand Prairie Public Library on board. They've got a lot of events planned. The art galleries got together with a lot of the artists, and they're going to have displays and showings throughout the entire year. There's talk about having the hot air balloon championships here, the curling championships here, and lots of things preliminary, and it's working out really good. Thank
Thanks
you.
very much. We'll move on to the Public Works Committee meeting, and I believe that was Councillor Wong.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor Given. I move that council receive the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting held April 19th, 2011.
Thanks very much. Did anyone notice any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. Councillor Wong.
Yes, I move that council approve the city enter into contracts with the town of Sexsmith and the town of Wembley for inspection services. And if I could speak on that just briefly.
Please.
There was a private business that used to offer inspection services to these two towns. That business is no longer in existence, so our city staff identified the opportunity that our city would be able to take on this type of inspection service and bring in additional revenue. The projected approximate revenue to the city is about $60,000 per year. And I think that's a great example of how our city staff are being innovative.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. So we have that motion on the floor. I see one in the queue. Councillor Rice.
I certainly support this motion. I want to give kudos to our staff and to the Public Works Committee. These are excellent regional initiatives that benefit everybody, and I think our staff has been very proactive in going out seeking these, but more importantly, it's their reputation for quality work that is having these other municipalities come to us. And I think this is certainly the direction we've been moving, and it's now coming to fruition.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. And just a question for Councillor Wong. This is a couple towns. Is there a few more down the road? And because of dealings I had before with inspections and plumbing, electrical, and building, they do their job very highly and really well. With more pressure on them, they may have to hire a new electrical inspector or building inspector. So $60,000, it's nice, but I'm looking forward to this going through because the quality of service is high here. So with add-on of maybe a couple more down the road, are we looking at squeezing them where they're already being squeezed and the economy picking up?
Councillor Wong.
I believe the discussion at the committee was that they had already staffed up prior to the economy taking a little bit of a dip, and so they continued to work through the backlog that they had, and these two additional contracts will now, well, they have capacity for that, and if it turns out that they need to hire someone down the road, that's something that they'll look at on a business case type thing. But we do have other contracts with other municipalities already. I believe Beaver Lodge is on with us. I don't know if anyone else is, but yeah.
Okay. I wonder, Frank, do you have anything further on that? Director of Public Works?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, we currently provide inspection services to the town of Beaver Lodge, and we're in negotiations with Hythe.
Okay. Thanks very much. Okay, any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Wong, was there anything else that you wanted to cover from that set of minutes?
I believe that was the only, yeah, those were the only things. It was a short meeting, but I'd be pleased to answer any questions if there are any.
Seeing none, we'll move on to General Government Services Committee meeting. And I see Councillor Gustafson handled that one. Councillor Gustafson, would you like to handle those minutes?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move that council receive the minutes of the General Government Services Committee meeting held April 20th, 2011.
Thanks very much. Did anyone spot any errors or omissions in those minutes? Seeing nothing, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
We had one delegation at the meeting. It was Mr. Manns, the manager of Aquaterra Utilities. He reviewed the highlights of the 2010 Aquaterra annual information. And the rest is in the agenda here further, if I could move on. Unless there's any questions?
Please do.
I'll move that council approve the 2010 audited financial statements for the city of Grand Prairie.
Okay, thanks very much. Councillor Gustafson, any discussion or debate? Mr. Anderson, I wonder if you'd like to give us some quick highlights of the year that was?
The year that was, there was a surplus for the year, and it was about $916,000. Unfortunately, a lot of it was related to tax penalty revenue. We were down on the assessment side. The property tax growth has decreased. So we did manage a surplus here, but it was in unfavorable reasons for it happening in the economy.
Thanks very much, Mr. Anderson. Any further discussion or debate on the audited financial statements? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move that council approve the transfer of $896,427 from the 2010 operating surplus to the financial stabilization reserve.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you. I'll move that council approve the Take Part, Take Pride Committee proceed with a community garden pilot project at Legal Land Description Lot 16, Block 17, Plan 9823990, situated on 98th Street.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Any discussion or debate? Care to speak to the motion? Councillor McLean, I see you in the queue.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Councillor Guston, where exactly lot 15, 16, okay, but where exactly 98 this beautiful garden's going to take place?
It's basically just a block south here, right between here and the Breakers building,
Okay.
right beside City Hall on the other side of the care center.
Immediately south of Aberdeen is probably
Yeah.
the best way to describe it, where there's the big poplar trees right there. So,
Okay, thank you.
okay. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion does carry. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you. I'll move that council award tender T13-32411 roof replacement on the city service center in the amount of $263,000. Sorry, $263,263,000, excluding GST, to DW Henderson Roofing as the lowest bidder, meeting specifications.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Councillor Rice, I see in the queue.
To Councillor Gustafson or perhaps Mr. Discavich, why are we replacing a roof on a building we just built?
Mr. Discavich, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Given. The roof repairs are to the 30-year-old section of the service center, not to any of the newly constructed portions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rice. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries.
I'll declare conflict on the next motion, as this is my business.
Okay, thanks very much. And so Councillor Gustafson declares a conflict of interest on item number 9.3.4. And Councillor Radbourne, I believe you're sort of the next in line at that committee. Could you handle that item for us?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move council approve the city enter into a 3-year contract with Blastaway Enterprise Limited for the renewal of one board sign located at the Coca-Cola Center effective April 1st, 2011.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radbourne. Any discussion or debate on the motion? I see Councillor McLean.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Councillor Radbourne, what would a contract be for 3 years for one board sign at the Coca-Cola Center?
I know, but it's
Nice to know.
rate for this contract is the rate for this contract is the same for the rate for any contract.
I wonder if the Director of Community Services could give us a little bit of an idea. Jane?
Thanks very much, Mayor Given. It would be approximately $1,200 per year, I believe.
Okay.
Each agreement is different depending on if a client is purchased at another facility or has more than one sign. So, but it's typically in that $1,000 to $1,200 range annually.
Okay. Okay, thanks very much. And the reason that it comes here is that any time that the city has a contract with a member of council or a business of a member of council, it has to come through City Council for approval. The same was the case when I rented the Teresa Sargent Hall for my wedding reception last year. So, okay. Yeah, Councillor McLean?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I wonder if you can answer this question too. Would it be a difference in between with venues, Dave Bar, Coca-Cola Center, or Crystal Downtown?
Director of Community Services?
Yes, thanks very much, Mayor Given. Yes, sir, it would be. For example, at the Crystal Center, a lot of the signage is shared between the Grand Prairie Storm and the city. And we currently have a campaign out right now between all three venues, working together. So if a client does purchase a sign or a backlit sign, arena rink board sign, that there can be deals that are made with that too. So yes, they would be different in every location. We all have different audiences that enter into the facility, so those things are taken into consideration.
Okay, thanks very much. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. If we could call back Councillor Gustafson. Councillor Gustafson, we're on to 9.3.5.
9.3.5, thank you. I'll move that council approve the city enter into a 3-year term with the Grand Prairie Pizza Hut for the renewal of 2 board signs located at the Coca-Cola Center and the addition of 1 new board sign located at the Dave Bar Arena.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. As with the previous one, this is only coming to council. Normally these would be handled by administration, except for the fact that it involves a council member's business. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you, Mayor Given. I'll move that council receive the 2011 Citizen Satisfaction Survey for information and direct administration review findings, processes, and plans of action for follow-up and report back at a future community meeting.
Future committee meeting.
Future committee meeting. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Discussion and debate. I see Councillor Radburn in the queue.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Just encourage council to support this motion. I think it adds a level of accountability to our initial experience with satisfaction surveys by requiring administration to report back with respect to what processes they're using, what things they're following up on in the plan, and what measures or what actions they're going to take. So this was, for me, it was important that it added a piece of accountability that was lacking in our first experience with the survey. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you. I'll move the council receive the 2010 general election candidates campaign disclosure statements report for information.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion or debate on this motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you. I'll move the council authorize the destruction of all records listed on the attached Schedule A, and that all records destroyed be properly listed and incorporated into the minutes of the council along with signed affidavits as to the witnessing of the destruction.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Anybody care to speak to the motion? Councillor O'Toole?
Yeah, I just wanted to, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to let you know that I got a hold of the archives department at the Grand Prairie Museum and informed them that there was a number of archives related items that they should look at, and they looked at 16 and took them, and they're now in the archives. They go back to 1950, and as current as 1980, I think it was.
So I wonder, is there a list of the items that have changed from the committee meeting to now? Jeanette?
Mr. Mayor, there were only 2 items that we had to eliminate from our listing. We've done that in the list that is before council. The 2 items that we've removed were the 1958 proposed feeder main and water reservoir layout, also the 1968 proposed sewer and water extension to the county fairgrounds. All of the other items that the archives took were duplicates, so we still are destroying a number of those other copies that we have. So the listing that council has in their agenda package is up to date, including a deletion of those 2 items taken by the archives.
Thanks very much, Jeanette. Any further discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson, was there anything else from the GGS committee meeting?
No, I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions for Councillor Gustafson? Oh, Councillor McLean has thought of one.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Councillor Guston, the question I have is about the council received 2010 general election campaign disclosure. Do people have to come into City Hall to look at this, or can they get it just right on the new web page and look at it? How does this proceed?
Well, I'm not really sure, actually. I'll look to...
We will forward that question to administration. I just want to say that the appropriate time to ask the question is when the motion is before council, and so we'll allow it this time, but certainly this is the type of thing that would be appropriate for when there's discussion or debate or questions around the motion. And Jeanette, could you
Thank you,
provide an
Mr.
answer?
Mayor. The statements are available for review in the legislative services area and can be reviewed with someone present when the person comes in. Yes.
Okay, thanks very much. So I think that'll take us on to Protective Services Committee, and Councillor Radburn, I think that was you. There you go.
I move council receive the minutes of the Protective Services Committee meeting held April 26, 2011.
Thank you. Did anyone notice any errors or omissions in that set of minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Radburn.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I move council direct the mayor forward a letter to Service Alberta supporting AUMA's position with respect to changes to the registry agent fee schedule. This is in reference to the $15 search fee applied to motor vehicle data requested by Batch for parking violations and photo enforcement programs. The mayor had sent a letter previously to the minister sharing our, I guess, frustration with that change. And we did receive a letter back from the minister, and we took a look at it committee, and then we decided to send another letter supporting AUMA's position. AUMA's position, in broad strokes, was that they were certainly not in support of the fee increase as well. If there is, though, then they are suggesting that the implementation be delayed till the fall, and they're looking at some flexibility for municipalities to add a fee onto the fine so that municipalities can cost recover this increase in these fees.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, Councillor Radburn, the only thing, did you mention the suggested impact that this would have on the city of Grand Prairie?
Well, our initial report that came to committee 2 meetings ago, I guess, was 150 to 200,000. So it's very significant.
Definitely. Okay. Thanks very much. Any further? Sure, Councillor Rice.
I understand it. It becomes another inequity in that it will not affect our rural neighbors. It'll only affect primarily the large and mid-sized cities. Is that not accurate?
My understanding, Councillor Rice, is that that's correct. The impact is on the majority on urban municipalities that have things like parking tickets, red light tickets,
Exactly.
photo radar tickets. The impact from AUMA's information was that it's approximately $30 million to municipalities across the province. So it's certainly significant. And the concern, I think, is not necessarily about the fee, which, if it can be passed on to users, is simply a cost of doing business. If you get a ticket, that's how much it costs. But if it has to be subsidized by taxpayers, and the city of Grand Prairie has to make a choice between paying for bylaw officers out of taxes or paying the provincial government on a service fee, that's where it becomes really problematic. So that's the concern that we'll be taking to the provincial government.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion or debate on that motion? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Radburn, was there anything else from that set of minutes?
Yeah, we did our kind of a departmental updates, reports at the meeting. So I'll just highlight, I guess, 3 items from those reports. One was just to share that the hospitality industry have resurrected their association of sorts, and one of their initial projects was responsible hospitality, and it was called Exit Strategy. And actually, it was the first one was the last weekend, Friday and Saturday night. So I was able to go to the media conference for kickoff, where it was a combination of sharing information and education with the patrons of those establishments, and the ever-present presence of enforcement those 2 evenings. And so we'll see how successful that project was, but I thought it was a good initiative on part of the industry. The other thing I wanted to point out is the Grand Prairie Firefighter Charitable Foundation, it was reported to us in Kish Fire Chief Lemieux's report, was that is donating 1 supper per month for a year to the Friendship Center in conjunction with Alberta Health Services, and that includes volunteers and cleanup. And I point this out because I think in the public forum, I think that's just an excellent way of giving back and supporting the community and all of our citizens. So I thought that was worth highlighting. The other is not so good news. We did receive a report from Karen Garapi, Crime Prevention Coordinator, that our Safe Growth Project and the Prevention of Family Violence Network project were both denied. We had applied for both those projects from, I think it was the Safe Communities monies, provincial, and unfortunately they were denied. So as our community does, we that was a director for the Family Violence Network, and so now the groups are getting together to look at how they're going to adjust and not lose that network without funding for that executive director. And with respect to our Safe Growth Project, we're going to continue. It is a priority of council, and we've looked at responsibilities in the department and reshuffled things, but that project will continue, although we had hoped that we'd be more aggressive in our implementation and be looking at more neighborhoods sooner. So anyway, we're going to have to adjust. We were quite hopeful. We'd applied previously and had been denied, and we were more hopeful this time, but unfortunately we were not successful.
Okay. Thanks very much,
Thank you,
Councillor
Mayor.
Radburn. Any further questions or discussion on that set of minutes? Committee meeting? If none, then we'll move on to Councillor Gustafson and the Community Development Committee.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Given.
Sure, Councillor Gustafson, you just have to ring in there so I can allow you into the queue and turn on your mic. Quit hitting the button and I can turn you.
Thank you, Mayor Given. All right. Thank you, sir, Mayor Given. I'll move the council receive the minutes of the Community Development Committee meeting held April 26, 2011.
Thanks very much. Any discussion on those minutes? Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you. There's 2 delegations at this meeting. There was the Pregnant and Parenting Teens Association was there, and the biggest thing I just want to mention to people out there is that this service, you know, if you put into perspective that approximately every second day there's a new baby born to a teen here in the Grand Prairie Hospital, it really shows that this is a well-valued and very good necessity in our city. So I'm very glad to have them here. And the Kool-Aid Society also was there, and they're a group that was associated and established in 1979, and today they have just about 10,000 visits a year at a cost about $3 per youth per visit. So I think that's another very good thing we have in our community, and I'm glad we have people to run those sorts of organizations. And I'll just move on. How about?
Sure, Councillor Gustafson, if you want to do the highlights, certainly can do them at the end where I ask you if there's anything else that you wanted to highlight from the meeting.
Thank you. Well, I will move that council approve the amended Muskogee Park Master Plan.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. So we have a motion for the amended Muskogee Park Master Plan. Any discussion or debate on the motion?
John.
Councillor McLean in the queue.
Thank you, Mayor Given. Councillor Guston, on the West Zippy master plan, there's an awful lot detailed in this from one end to the other, and I think it was over $30 million total budget. Not necessarily it's all happening right away. It was around the $30 million value for this, wasn't it? That's kind of what I'm...
Well, this is just, Bill, maybe you could explain it better, how you explained it, with it's not a working document, it's just a proposal.
Sure. I wonder if
Also,
the Director of Community Services maybe be appropriate for that. Jane?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Yes, in line with what Councillor Gustafson was saying, this is a conceptual document, and it's one that will always be living and breathing and certainly open to change. And there were price tags for various components of the development, but those are in today's dollars, and as council sees that they need to be brought forward, we will do so at that time.
Okay. Councillor Gustafson?
also, if I may, this document was, due to the Easter holiday and the Good Friday holiday, wasn't really distributed to the public. It was kind of insufficient notice for public shareholders and people to address the document. So I'm wondering if we could refer this to the next, have someone refer this to the next committee meeting or the next council meeting.
Okay, sure. I see Councillor Radburn in the queue.
Yeah, so I'll be pleased to do that. Given the administration recommendation above the motion, then I would move, do we just move to refer?
Sure.
Okay, I move that council refer the Muskogee Master Plan amendments back to community development to allow additional input from landowners.
Okay, thanks
you.
very much. Any discussion or debate on the motion? I see Councillor Wong.
Okay, I just wanted to say I see no problem with that. Muskogee Park isn't going anywhere, and the master plan in its original form is not a lot different than what was amended in the document. So, yeah, I support the motion to refer it back to committee.
Okay, thanks very much. So we have a motion for referral. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you. I'll move the council give bylaw C 1078A to amend the use of public lands bylaw, first reading.
Thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. There's no debate on first reading, so I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
I'll move the council give bylaw C 1078A to amend the use of public lands bylaw, second reading.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion for second reading, which is open to discussion or debate. Anybody care to, Councillor Radburn?
I think, as I understand it from the meeting, this amendment is simply that back in 2002, the public parks and public lands were were within the Public Works Department, and so now, actually for a number of years, they've been under the Community Services Department, and so we're just changing Public Works Director to Community Services Director in this amendment. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote on second reading. Thank you. That motion carries. Councillor Gustafson?
Thank you. I'll move the council have third reading.
Okay, so we have a motion to have third reading tonight. This motion must be unanimous. I'll call for the vote. Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you. I'll move the council give bylaw C 1078A to amend the use of public lands bylaw, third reading.
Thank you. So motion for third reading. We'll look for any discussion or debate. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson, was there anything else that you'd like to highlight from that set of minutes?
Just briefly, yeah, we had Lindsay Juniper from Parks and Recreation there to update the committee on the status of the Parks and Open Space Master Plan. And we also had the Pioneer Museum Society was there. Lois Harper asked for some direction on the what to do with the Pioneer Museum Society to, so we made a motion to research potential funding source and hire, train an Aboriginal curator for the Grand Prairie Museum, to explore the potential of establishing a fund on a cost-sharing basis between the city and the Pioneer Museum Society for the purpose of establishing exhibits representative of Aboriginal youth and new immigrant populations, and further provide a report to review the operational model of the Heritage Discovery Center at Center 2000. And that was about all that I can recall. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to do my best to answer them.
Thanks very much. Any questions for Councillor Gustafson? Seeing none, then Alex, I believe you got one more left.
One more.
One more.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I'll move the council receive the minutes of the Pursuant of Excellence Committee meeting held April 26, 2011.
Thanks very much. We have a motion for that set of minutes. Any errors or omissions spotted by members of council? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you. And that motion carries. Councillor Gustafson, anything you wanted to highlight from that set of minutes?
Yes, I'll just describe some of the funding we approved at the meeting. We approved some for the Lacrosse Association, $1,000 towards some clinic hosting for a 2-day camp. Actually, it was already happened here last week. And so we also approved some athlete travel funding in the amount of $250 for our Didora, a wrestler, went to nationals in Windsor, Ontario. And another hockey guy, athlete funding in the amount of $200, and some athlete development funding in the amount of $1,000. He attended National Aboriginal Hockey Championships in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And also too, we got some correspondence, like a thank you note from the Grand Prairie Minor Baseball Association. Another thank you note from the Alpine skiing people, and one more from the cross-country running. F. Benson was happy to. Fiona Benson was happy that we funded her, and that was all for that.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. So we'll move on to item 10, correspondence, of which we had none today. Item 11 is delegation business. I wonder if we could have a motion to follow up from the delegation. I see Councillor Rice in the queue.
I would move that we receive the delegation, the information from the delegation regarding joint initiatives with Mazatlan for information, and direct our staff to work with them to develop potential projects of mutual benefit.
And Councillor Rice, if I could make a suggestion, the delegation actually had in their PowerPoint a roadmap to talk about the short to medium term objectives and then the longer term objectives. Could you maybe use that wording just to keep it?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So direct administration to work with them to develop that roadmap for the sister city arrangement?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Councillor Radburn?
Thanks, Mayor Gibbon. I'd really support Helen's motion. I do think that we're going to have to commit some staff time to support this joint partnership. And so I think we need to be involved in developing that roadmap along with our partner. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Councillor Radburn. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Thank you, and that motion carries. We had no notices of motion, and I believe we have at least one council member report. And Councillor Radburn, you had the Grand Spirit Foundation.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. I'm just reporting on the Management Committee meeting of April 29th. Actually, we held it at Hearthstone Manor. It's one that is a project that the Grand Spirit Foundation manages for the city. Wild Rose Manor now has 24-hour-a-day home care coverage. Already this has been happening in the Pioneer and Heritage Lodges, but Alberta Health Services now had the budget flexibility to add that service, 24-hour service at Wild Rose Manor as well. Amos Court is, they have some occupancy at Amos Court in Beaver Lodge, their expansion. And official opening is June 23rd. I think that was, I think a increase of 24 units. Hearthstone Manor is fully occupied. I think that is good news. It's been a while in terms of the marketplace, but it's good news that I think they have full occupancy. Now we're looking at how we can use the multi-purpose community rooms in that facility more successfully and open it up. So that's what we're working on next. And I think that's good. Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much, Councillor Radbourne. Councillor Crokin, did I see that you had Prairie Gallery Board?
Thanks, Mayor Given. I attended the Prairie Art Gallery Board of Directors meeting on April 20th. The gallery's 2011-2012 budget was approved, and the annual general meeting was scheduled for June 23rd at 7 p.m. The gallery has raised an endowment fund from private sector giving over the past 7 years. And this year, for the first time, some gallery operations will be supported by funds earned by the endowment investment. Construction is going well, with the Teresa Sargent Hall expected to reopen to the public by May 5th. The board's main task in the next few months will be creating a new strategic plan in time for the completion of the gallery building by the end of the year. That's everything, Mayor Given.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. Were there any other council member reports on external boards or committees? Seeing none, Councillor Crokin, maybe you could start us off with council member roundtable. We'll start from you.
Thanks, Mayor Given. On April the 19th, I attended at the Tech Center the county state of the county address, which was very informative. Later, I attended at the Prairie Art Gallery and Grand Prairie Public Library meeting, presentation and tour, and they always have nice little things to nibble on. Then, of course, the 20th, I did attend the meeting later that night. On the 21st, I met here at City Hall with ATCO, and we talked at length about the electrical rates, our street lights, etc. And as Mr. Blackburn had said, we need more than a day to talk about how distribution and production and on and on. So that was a very, very good meeting. On April 26th and 27th, I attended a sad thing. It was prayers and funeral for Councillor Helen Rice's son-in-law in Slave Lake. Our prayers and sympathy to you and your family, Helen. On April 28th, I attended the proclamation for employees injured or killed on the job, the National Day of Mourning, the flag raising here at City Hall. Then at 11:30 on the same day, went to EMS they had lunch, which was really nice, and a presentation on what really happens when you dial 911. And it was very, very interesting that it's not just somebody on the other end. I mean, it's Alpha, Bravo, 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 and the rest of those things. Holy lightning! They're well trained. And then we had a little introduction to our city scrub. We did some street sweep cleanup at the back, and that was kind of exciting. We had some young children helping us. I'm sure it'll be reported on later. I just encourage people to kind of pick up after yourselves. You know, like one piece of garbage per person can make a big difference, and it is National Garbage Week, May 6th, the 16th, or 13th, or National Cleanup Week, or whatever it is. Just keep picking them up all the time. Later that day, again, I attended the Chamber Business Mixer at the Quality Inn. That was a really good job. A lot of new businesses there. On April 29th, I attended the luncheon opening of the Alberta Health Primary Care Network. Now, that's really something. That's great. Later, I handed out medals and ribbons at the 2011 Artistic Western Canada Gymnastics Championships, along with Sergeant Neil Fraser in his red serge. It was actually exciting to see all those athletes. I couldn't believe it. I talked to people from Winnipeg, Calgary, Vancouver, and they were really excited to see a venue that we have in the city of Grand Prairie, of course, that we're very, very proud of, and Jane had it all spick and span. They really loved our venue there. So that was it, Mayor Gibbon.
Thanks very much, Councillor Crokin. We'll move on to Councillor Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Given. I attended the State of the County address by Reeve McDonald. A couple things he mentioned was the lack of MSI funding that we all feel across the province, and he bragged a little bit about his 8% increase in operations out there in the way out there in the county in these tough economic times, and also bragged a little bit about their new expanded fire service they are promoting here in the near future. I attended the kickoff to Youth Week with the Youth Council here in Grand Prairie, a week-long schedule of events put on by the City of Grand Prairie, the Community Social Development, and FCSS. I also attended the lunch and ribbon cutting ceremony for the GP Grand Prairie Primary Care Network, working together to support primary care in Grand Prairie. This weekend I attended the Western Canadian Championships here at our Crystal Centre and presented awards to some aspiring young athletes on Friday night. Very well hosted event. Another notch to add to our sports and tourism strategy that's coming forward soon. And I also was very intrigued and very interested on all the from ATCO there. When we met ATCO that evening, they mentioned that anybody can buy out of the pool for power, so I'm wondering if I could refer that to the GGS or the appropriate committee for discussion at the next committee meeting.
What's the, sorry, Councillor Gustafson, I'm not sure what it is that you're referring?
The option of how we can buy from the pool.
Right now, the city is in a long-term contract to buy our power, which doesn't expire until 2014? 2013, so it is something that will be coming to GGS in relation to that. Would that be sort of address the matter? Because we are in a contract right now.
Well, our residents, how, what,
I think maybe we just need to look into this issue a little bit more, and if you have a
Sure.
specific item, we can put it onto an agenda at any time.
And I believe that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Gustafson. Councillor Radburn?
Thank you, Mayor Given. Active couple of weeks. I attended the State of the County address as well, and also attended the gallery and library presentation and tour. I thought the presentations were good in terms of updating us, in terms of how we're leading the pack, so to speak, with a number of our initiatives from both of those facilities. And we did receive a tour in terms of how things are going with the restoration of our old gallery. Airport Commission on the 20th, 21st. I represented Productive Services Committee and met with the local RCMP leadership and provided some input into their annual performance plan. Attended the ATCO Council information session as well. And that evening I attended Heritage Lodge staff and residents banquet and awards. So I was pleased to be able to present some awards there. Had my meeting with the city manager on the 25th, 26th with a number of council. I attended the Youth Week dinner and discussion with Youth Council. Really enjoyed the evening, and just kudos to those youth who are becoming very actively involved in the council. Just some enthusiasm there, and there's certainly, as we went around and talked about why did we run for council, and then they talked about why they're being involved in the youth council. There were some similarities there, which is really great to see. The media conference at Egan's for Exiting Strategy Initiative on the 27th, and also along with a few colleagues in council met with the Red Cross local and provincial manager. The proclamation of flag raising National Day of Mourning, information session with EMS, City Scrub kickoff, and on the 29th I was had the honor of bringing greetings and at the thank you luncheon sponsored by the Downtown Association for Administrative Professionals Week. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 20-some years that the Downtown Association, 25 or something, or have been sponsoring that event. Very well attended, excellent entertainment, and I was able to, along with Councillor McLean, thank our support, that being Bernie, for her help trying to keep all of us on track. did two medal presentations at the Western Canadian Gymnastics Championship, and I also spoke at the opening ceremonies on Friday night. And on the 30th, I actually went to the Youth the Week display at the Prairie Mall, where I had a chance to talk to Dale and talk about some of the agencies that support youth in our fair city. Thank you, Mayor Gibbon.
Thanks very much, Councillor Robin. Councillor O'Toole.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. On Tuesday, the 19th, I also attended the State of the County address, as well as many of the other members of City Council and administration. On the Wednesday, the 20th, I attended the Prairie Art Gallery and Grand Prairie Public Library presentation and tour. Great work being done over there and major progress on the gallery. Before that, I attended the Airport Commission meeting. On Thursday, the 21st, Council met with ATCO Electric, as previously mentioned, and won't get into that. Some of the topics that were talked about were power sources, transmission costs, and power rates. And as Mr. Crokin said, we had a 2-hour meeting, and that wasn't long enough to do that. We plan on having a second meeting. On the 26th, Tuesday, I attended the Protective Services Committee, Pursuit of Excellent meeting, and I also attended a funeral for a longtime employee of City of Grand Prairie, Dan Deely. He's a member, or it was an employee of the City of Grand Prairie, and he was just my neighbor down the street from me. On the same day, I attended the Community Development Committee. Later on that evening, we had the Youth Week dinner at Garino's. The Youth Council of Grand Prairie invited the City Council, and they made up nice little invitations, which I'm very proud of. They did a great job, and it's pretty cute, and a lot of effort went into that. Members of each council spent time asking questions and replying. I got to thank Dale Tiedemann, city employee, for being a major support and program leader. Awesome job, Dale. On Wednesday, the 27th, I gave welcoming words to the NAOSH Week Health Workshop and Luncheon. NAOSH stands for the North American Occupational Health and Safety. It was hosted at the Quality Inn. Attendance was solid, about 200 people in attendance. And just some highlights here, I won't get into too much detail. In Alberta, 136 workers died from workplace incidents last year. Others were injured needlessly. Employers spend $65 million on stress and depression issues each year. Thanks to local social worker Rob Smith, counselor and facilitator. He did a fantastic presentation. Also, David Irving, renowned author, also a keynote speaker, gave a very inspiring words, so much that I purchased 2 of his books. Yeah, you got to read them now. Council had been given an invite to attend the local Red Cross office to meet with local staff and the provincial director, Stephen Armstrong, and I attended that as well. On the 28th, 29th, and 30th, I attended the Alberta Library Conference. Some notable speakers that were there were Anna Maria Tremonti, the CBC radio, she does the radio show The Current. Hector Goudreau, MLA, Minister for Municipal Affairs. Richard Warzel, leading forecaster and futurist, author as well. Keith Steele, author, director of the Mount Royal University. Karen Lynch, president of the Alberta Library Trustees Association. Roberta Stevens, president of the American Library Association. She was the project manager at the Library of Congress in Washington. And she's the chairperson for the National Technical Institute for the Deaf. And she's got a list of other things that she's very proud of being part of. I spent some time with Area 1 and newly appointed representative Jason Gallback, and he'll be representing our zone in the library section. I just got one more final thing. In this weekend past, the Wapiti Shooters Club held, or the Oilmans in Grand Prairie held a sporting clay shoot. It was hosted by the Wapiti Shooters Club. It was the largest shoot ever held in Canada with 255 shooters. And I will come back with some more figures, but they donated a massive amount of money to STARS and 4 other community groups. So just wanted to let you know.
Thanks very much, Councillor O'Toole. Councillor McLean?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. On April 19th, I attended a speaking skill workshop with Alan Goff, who is really like a jewel in our city. He came second in Worlds one year for Toastmasters. That's a pretty big accomplishment. On April 26th, I also attended with a number of other councils Youth Week kickoff with the Youth Council. And I was quite impressed by our engagement with them and the future holds, because in this council, you'll notice Helen Rice is the only lady. On that council, the majority of them are ladies. And they came up with a couple of ideas, some about paved trails, some areas that are insufficient in the city. Along the highway going to Grand Cache, there's some areas there, BMO going down to the mill, and the other side to the new multiplex. And another thing they asked was dances from 12-year-olds to 17-year-olds, where events they can go and they're safe and they can have a little bit of enjoyment. There's not enough of that in our city, and that was brought up. As well, I attended the Day of Mourning proclamation and the flag raising, and this has always been big to me since I was very young. My grandfather was in a mine in Cape Breton where underneath him one day in the late 70s, 12 men died, so it's very, very important. As well as I was at a lunch and meet with EMS, and I believe there's lots of talk about health and education center and about, I think in the future, hopefully the better response time for ambulances and hitting different regions, not just Grand Prairie on the west side that we're annexation. So I'm hoping in the future stuff come about. As well as I was here on City Scrub that Councillor Crokin brought about, and I did have my 2 children, Kendra and Kara, and they were 3, and they did pick up garbage that day. And we're all in fault on that, and I believe there's a lot out this year, so I'm hoping that there's a major cleanup. And April 9th, I attended the thank you luncheon and put on by the Downtown Association for celebrating Administration Professional Week. And I just got to say hats off. Downtown Association does so much, and it's unbelievable. And to Helen and Marge, because this event was packed, well attended, and Councillor Radburn brought it up. And big kudos to them all. Like they planned this. It was amazing. So I have to say thank you, Helen and Marge.
Thanks very much, Councillor McLean. Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Mayor Gibbon. On Tuesday, April 19th, I attended the Art Gallery and Public Library presentations, also the State of the County address at the Tech Center. On April the 20th, I attended a Grand Prairie Regional Tourism Association strategic planning session where we were working on our SWOT analysis. That's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's part of the development of a larger strategic plan for the association. So it's not completed yet, so I can't really give any details on that, but great process so far. On Tuesday, April 26th, I was at the GP Youth Council information session with council. Also on the 27th with the Red Cross Provincial Director and the Red Cross staff. On Thursday, April 28th, with the GP EMS management team. Also on Thursday the 28th, I attended the Chamber of Commerce Business Showcase. On Friday, April 29th, I was in Peace River for the Mighty Peace Watershed Alliance. We had our first board meeting since the AGM, so it was really nothing substantive to report except that we reviewed all the work that was done by the initiators group. The only one piece of information that is really great news is SRD has formally declared the Society the official Watershed Planning and Advisory Council and has committed funding for the first year of its operations. So it does have official status now. And the only other thing I want to report on is the upcoming event on May 14th. Evolution Fighting Championship is holding a professional mixed martial arts event at the Crystal Center, and tickets are on sale now. The city is still looking for volunteers who want to help out and get a unique behind-the-scenes look at this type of event. And those volunteers will also get a chance to interact with some of the athletes. So I would encourage those members of the public who are interested in this kind of thing to sign up with the city, and they can get a hold of me or just get a hold of Audrey Cherney at the city.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wong. Councillor Rice?
Just a couple of things, and I probably should have done this in the last council reports portion, but I want to say congratulations to Aquaterra on being named the Technical Employer of the Year through the Association of Science and Engineering Technology Professionals of Alberta. And their mission is to benefit the public and the profession by being the premier regulator, service provider to and promoter of safe, high-quality professional technology practices. So that Aquaterra won the award for the best technical employer. I give them our congratulations. And also on Friday, I will be traveling to Peace River. They're looking at forming a BRZ and want our advice on setting it up. So I have forwarded them copies, all the relevant copies of our bylaws that are applicable, now that I can find them on the website briefly. So I think it'd be they're very excited about that, and so I'll be happy to take part in that.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Rice. You know, there's another event that's going on tonight that some of us are probably eager to find out what the score is. So I'll go through my report rather quickly. I attended the State of the County address. I also attended the Prairie Gallery and Library Board presentation. And one thing I have to say about that is the presentation from the directors of the Library Board and Prairie Gallery was fantastic, and I think they really need to take it on the road. They highlighted the stories of why you have things like libraries and galleries and communities and their importance. I also was in attendance at the meeting with the representatives from ATCO. I had an opportunity to be in the meeting with the representatives of the Grand Prairie Youth Council and make the proclamation for Youth Week in Grand Prairie. I also had the opportunity to attend the services for City Staff Member Dan Daly, who passed away. I was at the meeting with Steve Armstrong from the Red Cross and was here at City Hall for the Day of Mourning for Workers Killed or Injured on the Job, and it was my honor to make the proclamation and be a part of the flag raising. Later that day, I also attended the meeting with representatives from Alberta Health Services EMS and participated in the launch of the City Scrub. On Friday, the 29th, I spent the morning at an event hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, their Chamber Council, which was an opportunity for industry and industry leaders and, gosh, I don't know how to say it. There were representatives from municipal governance, the city, the county, and from health, from the college, from the education sectors, and as well as from industry, and we had a chance to go basically around round table and give highlights of what's going on in our areas, some of the challenges that we see, and basically present to our MP and our 2 MLAs all at the same time. So it was a great chance to learn a little bit about what's going on in other sectors, as well as to make the case for some of the concerns that we have at the provincial and federal levels. And so certainly I did raise the point about the service fees with them. Later that day, I was also at the ribbon cutting for the Grand Prairie Primary Care Network. And then over the course of the weekend, I attended at the opening of MS Walk and proclaimed May as MS Month in the city of Grand Prairie. That evening, I was at Crystal Center for the final round of awards for the Gymnastics Championships, and I just want to thank all the volunteers who brought that event to the city and who profiled our city so well in the way that they hosted that. And I wanted to thank the staff at the Crystal Center that did such a fantastic job as the host venue. And then on Sunday morning, I was down at Muscogee Park again for the launch of the Kids Help Phone Walk. And today I spent some time, as you heard, with the representative from the Mazatlan Tourism Partners. And with that, Councillor Rice.
Mr. Sherbeck would probably never forgive us if we didn't say that he is not with us this evening because he has taken some vacation time to volunteer with the Real Shorts Film Festival, which is on in Grand Prairie this week, and tickets are available at GP Live Theatre.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks very much, Councillor Rice, and with that, we'll adjourn the meeting.